I would say that it has a little bit more than what it went there, but not too much. I'm gonna guess probably 68 to 70 mile an hour is the top speed on this. One of the things I like that they've done with this is if you turn this key one time, it just gives you your accessories, things such as the radio, your interior lights, things that you would turn on. A lot of times in the accessories, they don't do that. So this will run just with the stereo on and stuff. Used to, on like the Ranger and the Defender, you had your normal turn, and then you had on. And what that would do is it would kick your dash and everything on. It would kick your radio on. It would turn your air on. As you can see, the air is not on. So none of this works. So it's less drag on your battery, but you can still run the stereo. So, oh, wrong way. YouTube is crazy about music. But anyway, and then you can turn it one more time, and then that gives you the power to everything. So you've got a switch on here that you can wire anything that you want to come on without like the air conditioning and other stuff. I think that is really nice that they put in there. As I've said before, this telescopic steering wheel has crazy in and out, along with the actual shift of it up and down. I mean, it's probably got, look at that, probably 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches up and down leeway. Other than that, on the inside, this layout, I think you could be whatever size and not hit your knees. This is a very comfortable seating. I think if you was heavier set, that it may be a little harder as close. I mean, I'm right at 6 foot and I'm about 185, 190 pounds. And my arms and everything rest almost perfectly. So as far as my stature, I fit wonderful in here. One of the things that I've noticed that I don't like, and some people have mentioned it in the comments, is this here going out and in. If you look, this piece, it just seems super flimsy. I don't know why, but it's, and a lot of people have said that this starts to crack right here in this area. But this thing is just, I mean, it feels like it's held on by flimsy glue or something. So I'm not really sure why it's like that. Hopefully I don't have any trouble out of it, but it just doesn't have a very, very sturdy feel to it. But back to the inside. Now, I've been driving this for a couple of days now, and just driving it in the woods, it drives so smooth. I mean, when you go over logs and you're going through trails and stuff, it's really, really smooth. But we're going to take you guys on a ride and just kind of talk as we go down the trail and give you our thoughts. One of the things that I've noticed on the trail, and I'll show you in the trail, but on our Defender, we have running boards on it. And there's a certain spot, and it's running 30-inch tires. All the 23s have 30-inch tires. But when it was running, I don't think the ground clearance is as much as this is. And the reason I say that is because when it would shift in that area, it would rub this side over here when it would go up on that part. And so I think that this has much better control over the body, but at the same time, there's logs down there that we go over, and this goes over the logs extremely smooth in comparison to the Defenders or the Rangers. Now, another thing that I want to show you guys, hopefully I can get up in there and show you, but let's see, this will be a better spot. The steering rack in this is extremely heavy duty. Can you see it up in there? Look at that. I mean, just looks so much more robust than anything I've seen in a Defender or a Ranger. And then the arm size on this, not so much as the front, but the rear also is extremely beefy and boxed in the rear side. And you see how it's hard to tell in video. Videos never do this thing justice, but it's extremely beefy in that A-arm. This thing, I've tried different shock settings, and it comes from the factory on medium. I really like the medium setting, but this is the first time I've switched it back to medium in the front, and I'm going to try really soft in the rear. A lot of times in machines, the rear will do better if it's soft. So like when your front gets out of control and you hit a bump, your rear is going to come into it next. So if it's already out of control, it's just going to add that much more. But I don't know. When I shifted the front to soft, it seemed like it didn't rebound near as well. And so I don't know if there's that much difference in the actual setting. Now, we was talking about this the other night, these chambers in here. I've had 2 or 3 people comment different things, and some have said this is for sound. Some of them have said it's for deep water to catch it before it goes in the clutch. I can see where both of those might make sense, but I'm not 100% sure if either of them, like I said, are correct. But if you guys know, let me know. Like I said, the one guy said it was for sound, and I guess that could be true. Like I said, it's going through here, so it's letting some of that sound dissipate. And then also, I guess water could go down in those too. But I'll do a separate video kind of showing when we do an oil change, how to do the air filter, which is right here, your air filter box. And then you just got normal things over there, like your oil top and everything. But one of the things I found weird is this is, I'm almost sure it's plexiglass, where this is actual real glass. I'm not sure why they did that. The rest of the machine is real glass. So this here, I don't know why they would go with plexi on the bottom, but I'm almost 100% sure it's plexiglass. Just the way it moves.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, Siri. You only work when I don't want you to. But I'm really loving this machine. And so it took a few days to kind of get acquainted with it, just to get used to it. And also I want to show you guys these headlights. These are some of the coolest headlights I have ever seen on a machine. Just how they did the aluminum surfacing on this with the bulbs. I mean, it just looks sweet. But I'll turn them on, show you high and low. So we'll do low first. Hey, hon, you want to get her a car seat and we'll put it in? I'll show them how a car seat fits. So here's your low, which it runs all of these here. There's 3 of them right here, and then your running light. And the same thing on the other side. And then when you turn your high on, she's fine. And then when you turn your high on, you've got every one of them in there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, 5 of them. And I mean, it's got a really good beam pattern, how it comes out. Another thing, now, I can't find it anywhere. I've seen multiple people say it online, but I cannot find a winch remote anywhere in here. So I plan on wiring one up just in case I'm by myself. I think that's huge to have. I ended up doing one on the Defender. The Rangers used to come with them. But if they come with them, this one didn't have it in there, and I haven't been able to find it. So if you guys have got one of these and it come with a winch remote, let me know. These tires hook up extremely well. They hold the terrain well. I'm probably going to end up getting this exact same tire in a 32. You guys let me know your thoughts if you've ever ran these tires. They're a 30-inch Crawler XP, and they're Polaris's brand, but man, they're beautiful looking, and they hook up extremely well. Now, another thing, in the first video, I was telling people that going downhill, that this machine tends to let out of the actual clutching if you're not ready. So like if you go to the top of the hill and you're in high and you just let out of your throttle and intend to coast, it will freewheel extremely quick. It doesn't hold you back. Now, if you hit the throttle, it will tend to hold you back, but in high, it doesn't do it unless you're on the throttle. So if you're going down a big hill, you can't throttle it extremely well and do it, but you have to put it in low. But low is geared so low that you go down the hill at like 1 to 3 mile an hour. I mean, the low in this, and I've said this in the first video, but the low in this is just insanely low. I mean, when you hit, if you're hitting 15 mile an hour, it sounds like the engine is revved to the max. I mean, it's extremely low, and I love it on the trails. If you're driving on a trail and you're in low, and it's not like a speedy trail, like you're trying to go real fast, but if you're trying to maneuver and get the machine, look at Willow trying to get up in there. Honey, can you not reach? But just the clutching in this is, I absolutely love it. I see a lot of people that don't like it, but I think for a heavy machine like this that's only got 100 and some horse, I mean, if this thing had 200 horse, which I would absolutely love, I mean, this machine would have been that much better of a machine if it had that much horsepower. But also, I know that just having the 115 horse, how much louder it is than having 80 horse. It's hard for them to make that 2-cylinder not be extremely loud and still have pep. Any machine, the higher you get in RPM, the louder it's going to be, especially if it's a high horsepower output or something. So just keep that in mind. Now, this machine, cruising on the trails, you can drive it in high and not have any issues. But we're going to go on a trail ride, and it's, getting dusky. One of the other things that I like is the lights that are in here at night. So you've got these little lights and everything that's in the cab. One other thing that I didn't understand why they done, and you can't hardly see it, but back here where the steering column comes through, you can see straight through into the front of the dash. And I'll see if I can get up in here and show you. You can't see it from this side, but I can see in through there. So you can't see it right now, but this is a very well built machine, especially going to the 5-hub assembly. So I think over time it should hold up really well. This side of your panel, this here, comes off, and you've got storage inside this, so you can put a spare belt or something else in there. But it's just got a little click handle, you can see here, and then it pops off. If you guys have a car seat like this that has a base that snaps in, and then this goes on top, the only place that it will fit is in the front. And that was the same way in the Defenders or the Ranger. But the only problem is this is 5 seats. So just remember that if you're a bigger family, and you need you and your wife in the front, and you're planning on putting one of these in the back, it will not work. This here, this bar, it goes behind the seats, and it's too far forward, so you can't put the car seat down in it. Another thing that Polaris does is these are longer. See that? So when you try to snap it, this goes into the car seat when you're trying to put it down. So it just doesn't work. So my wife's saying with sitting in the back, you kind of feel like you're down in a hole. So the experience isn't the same for her riding in the back, and she has to because Willow has to ride over here. So if you're, you know, having to put the adults in the back where those are like down in the cockpit, it makes it more where you've got this seat right in front of your eyes, just like this. So your visual isn't near as good as something like a Defender or a Ranger. But I'm going to show you guys, we're just sitting here, we've got the air on 1, and that's another thing about this. The air on this works so well, I find myself rarely putting it on anything over 1. And I love that it's got the different settings where you've got defrost, feet, you know, hands or face, where you can actually turn it to. That is really, really nice. But we're just sitting here with the air on 1, and I'm going to see what the sound decibel is without me talking. So you have to wait a second. So it's at 66 when I'm not talking. We're going to go in high, and we're going to see what it is when we're running 45 to 50 mile an hour down the road. Getting it up to speed, it obviously gets louder, but it is pretty loud. Anything above 20 to 25 mile an hour, it's got a very loud hum to it when it's getting up to the speed. As far as taking curves and body roll and things like that, this is 100 times better than our Defender or the Ranger we've had. Any of those machines, they don't have a shock package to hold the platform as still as they should. Do you have any thoughts that stand out to you? You were saying the other day that it felt hotter back there?
Yeah.
Does it feel hot in the seat?
In the seat, I can feel the engine under there. I feel like it's warm.
You feel like the engine puts the heat through the back seat?
I do.
My wife was saying she's rode in the back twice now, and the engine heat, where it's right on top of the engine, seems to heat the back seats up more than something like a Ranger or a Defender. But just getting up to speed here, let's let's see kind of. So when you get on it, it puts, you know, sometimes above 90 decibels, which, like I said, if you're looking at this for traveling around on the roads, I don't know that this is the vehicle for you just because of the cab noise. I wouldn't look at this as a road vehicle. I would look at this as a trail vehicle. And I think if you're looking at it from that perspective, that you'll love the machine. There is some things that you could do, like sound deadening and other things, but it's just too many RPM, and the cab, the wall between where the motor is and where you sit is just a piece of plastic that's probably 1/8 inch thick, if that. So a lot of the noise comes into the cab, even at lower RPM. Now, when we're down in the woods riding and stuff, it's not bad at all, unless you was trying to race through the trails. And I don't even look at this as a race machine. I look at this as more of a load your family up and go to the trails and have a good time, not something you're gonna go out and have it high RPM and high speeds all the time. Right now I'm cruising at about 6-7 mile an hour. Showed 80 decibels. 10 mile an hour, 75. When I talk, it goes up, so you have to look at the number that first pops up, because when I talk, I'm real close to the watch, so it's picking up multiple sounds. It seems like to me, anything above 18 mile an hour, the machine starts to get pretty loud. So just keep that in mind. We'll see what this loader is when it's hammering, just for reference. So 68, 69 decibels. Yeah, we'll just go all the way down to the lake, and you can play in the lake part where it nooks around.
Yeah, and I can play with little T-Rexy.
Right.
Little T-Rexy's my buddy. Okay?
Okay.
And little T-Rexy is the one that lives in my fire.
You like T-Rexy, don't you?
Yeah.
Until I can't go no faster. What do you think?
Oh, now you can.
Yeah, now we got some pep in our step.
That's how I know it, because it doesn't go as fast as it goes.
Right.
You have your seatbelt on.
I need to get that tree up there moving.
That last little tree. That was no fault.
Willow?
I know Willow's having a good time, right?
I hope so.
And this is pretty fun, all these clubs and wheeling around.
I bet y'all would like to play back there where we do that little flex test.
Yeah.
We'll look up here at this part and see which one's better. Probably the best part to play in would be the slate rock up here before the lake. The big long stretch of slate rock.
Now this is going to be a big one. Woo!
Now I used to rub on one side when I would make the Defender shift or the Ranger, and this one doesn't rub.
That's going to be a problem. It isn't.
Uh-uh.
That's on the other path.
Yep. There's a tree.
Yeah. You have the cutting thing
No.
still back there?
No.
Not anymore?
Uh-uh.
That's bad because there's another tree here. Now that's bad. Why do you not want to get this in the radiator?
What do you mean?
Why do you never want this one get
The radio?
Uh-huh.
Well, YouTube won't let me play the radio. It goes against copyright things. So if I'm videoing, I can't have the radio playing, or they'll copyright it, and then it's not able to be monetized.
What's monetize mean?
It's the way that you make money with YouTube.
That's a big spider.
Yeah, it was a big spider, wasn't it?
Called a big leaf. Right?
Right.
Most thought it was a big old fly.
Oh, that it caught,
Uh-huh.
and really it just caught a leaf.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I bet he was sad, wasn't he?
Uh-huh. That spider.
Yeah, he thought he caught something good to eat, and it was just a leaf. Look, he's on the windshield. Oh, two of them.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to have a cab. I think right here would be a great spot for y'all to play. What do you think?
Nope. Get on up. Get on up.
Well, this would be good for Willow, though, because it's not too deep, and she can play around in the water.
Yeah.
And you can play with your digger in there. We'll keep going in a minute. Let's see how it works out here. First thing we got when we got out was this turtle. I had never seen one like this, sitting in the water, but basically he was sitting in this little nook where all the water flows to, and then I guess he was catching fish and stuff there. I'm not really sure, but he's just sitting in there in that water deep down in there with his head out. So I wonder we didn't run him over. He was right behind the tire. He was here and the tire went through right there. I've hit these mirrors twice now. So far, so good. Some of this down here is extremely tight. Going uphill 9 mile an hour and low, and it's humming.